HarperCollins presents The Cooking of Books, a literary memoir by Ramachandra Guha, read by Sam Dastor. Good editors, really good editors, are very rare, in fact, even rarer than good writers. It's a special kind of talent because it takes two qualities that rarely go together in the same person. On the one hand, great arrogance, and on the other hand, great selflessness. The arrogance lies in the fact that you, the editor, thinks he knows better than the author, who is usually a specialist, on how to say what it is he wants to say. The humility or selflessness, which is very important, is that you are willing to lend your talents to someone else's work without getting any credit for it. Norman Podhoretz. Preface. I am a creature of habit, from the way I structure my day's work to the manner in which I organize my year's travels. After moving to Bangalore in 1995, I started making 4 trips each year to India's capital city to raid the rich archival collections of the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library, NMML. These were generally in January, April, September, and November, enabling me to avoid the brutal heat of the Delhi summer and the sapping stickiness of the monsoon. I would book myself for a week or 10 days in a boarding house within walking distance of the NMML. I would reach the manuscripts room at 9 a.m. as soon as it opened, colonize a desk by the window, order my files, and settle in for a day of concentrated research. Apart from a short break for lunch and 2 shorter breaks for chai, I took notes until 5 p.m., coming back the next day for more. I have worked with dozens of archives around the world, but the NMML has always been my favorite place to do research. The reasons are various. The setting, a tree-laden campus rich in birdlife behind the magnificent Tin Murti house, the range of primary materials on all aspects of my country's history, the capable and helpful staff, the planned and unplanned meetings with other scholars who came to work there. For a quarter of a century I made 4 and occasionally 5 pilgrimages each year to this shrine for historical researchers. When I was there in January 2020, I had no clue that year would be any different. Then the pandemic set in, and for the rest of the year, and much of the next, I was marooned in South India. Even if I had somehow got on a flight to New Delhi, I would have found the NMML shut. Denied access to my best-loved public repository, I took recourse to my personal archive. In my study, I had a vast cache of my correspondence with a man named Rukun Advani, a Cambridge scholar with a PhD on E.M. Forster, who helped transform the Indian branch of the Oxford University Press, OUP, making it the go-to place for the best scholarship on the subcontinent, whether written by historians, sociologists, political scientists, or economists, whether these were Indian or British or American or Japanese. Rukun and I had been contemporaries at St. Stephen's College in the 1970s, when he was already deep into serious books, while I was an anti-intellectual sportsman. In those days he had contempt for me, preferring, naturally, the company of the future novelist Amitav Ghosh and other literary-minded folks. But later, after I rebooted myself and did a PhD as well, we became acquaintances and then friends. He published all my early books and was instrumental in my becoming successively a historian, a biographer, a cricket writer, and an essayist. It was also he who encouraged me to leave the OUP for trade presses that he felt could do more justice to the books I was now writing. Meanwhile, he had himself left the OUP and started a small
Sample complete. Ready to continue?